This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Right now at 6 on Good Morning Indiana.
We're continuing to try to put pressure on legislators and keep that momentum going.
Giving more money to education in Indiana is a big topic across the Hoosier State. Covering the State House, we're breaking down how Senate leaders plan to take action today on the hot button issue.
Are you looking to buy a car or truck on Facebook Marketplace? Working for you, we're sharing one couple's message after they lost serious cash so it doesn't happen to you.
The plan to build a community center in Broad Ripple is at the center of a controversy. We're live with how you can weigh in on the project today.
Yeah, it's affecting almost everybody that lives around this area, basically.
And a Boone County boy is taking his concerns straight to the mayor's office. This morning, the twist that's preventing the request from becoming reality.
And it is 6 o'clock on this Thursday, January 9th. Thanks for joining us here on Good Morning Indiana.
And we're waking up that Victor Oladipo is making a comeback and the weather is going to get better a little bit, so life is good, right?
Is it going to get better, though? I know a lot of people have concerns about the rain that we're going to get tonight, though. Meteorologist Todd Clausen standing by with when we can expect that to happen and how much we can expect to get.
Yeah, can't we just get 65 and sunny, right?
Yeah.
You know, there's always seems to be this time of year a trade-off. So, yeah, it's going to get nice and mild across the area, but we are going to be dealing with some very heavy rainfall starting late tonight. This morning, as you walk out the door, it's cold. That's the biggest thing you'll have to contend with temperatures that are running anywhere from about 26 to 33 degrees. Partly cloudy skies, no threat of any rainfall this morning, and really no threat of any rainfall throughout the duration of the daytime hours today. It's not until late tonight that we'll start to bring in the chance of rain. As you see back off to our west, there's really not a whole lot going on, but you will notice throughout the day more in the way of clouds starting to build in. So this morning, temperatures are starting below freezing. We will warm pretty quickly, though. By the noon hour, we should pick up to about 46 degrees as that wind starts to get a little gusty. Then eventually we end up in the low 50s. Once we get to this evening after sunset, that is when the rain is going to arrive. A flood watch posted for much of central Indiana. We're talking about 2 to 4 inches of rain by the time we wrap things up on Saturday. Much more in the forecast about this rain as I'll walk you through the forecast hour by hour coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We are planning out your commute on this Thursday morning. Here is a live look at I-465 and US 36. It's Rockville Road over on the west side. You can see traffic here is moving along just fine, both northbound and southbound on the interstate. No major delays to slow you down. So let's take a look at our traffic now map. Planning out your drive right now, heading in from the northwest side. If you're taking I-65 southbound from the Dog Lake to I-70 at the North Split, no delays. It is a 17-minute commute.
The time now is 6:02 and teachers are seeing red with state lawmakers at this point not embracing the issues that led to their massive protest last year.
The Red for Ed movement was hoping to put pressure on the legislature to listen to the concerns of educators. Our Alyssa Donovan is live at the State House with what teachers will be watching today. Alyssa.
That's right. Good morning. So we're only 4 days into the 2020 legislative session, and teachers are learning a pay raise, one of the many issues they rallied for last year, is likely off the table. Now, however, educators are seeing steps in the right direction when it comes to one of the issues they marched for back in November. One of the first orders of business for Indiana lawmakers at the start of session on Monday was to do something about iLearn. That's the state's standardized testing. Less than half of Indiana's students passed the test last spring. A bill that's under consideration would protect teachers from being penalized for their students' performance on the iLearn test. The bill would also place a 2-year delay in using test scores to rate schools so that educators can have time to adjust from the previous standardized test they had been using.
And that is a very positive step in the right direction. We have always said that these tests being coupled to teacher evaluations really isn't fair.
Now, House Democrats tried on Tuesday to give teachers a one-time bonus of around $4,000 each from $291 million in unexpected state tax revenue. But that was shot down by Republicans, saying they agreed with Holcomb's office that it would not be rather the best use of money. Instead, those funds will be used for college campus projects. Now, today, state Democrats will be holding a press conference here at the State House. That's this morning at 9:30 to address the with salaries for teachers. Reporting live, Alyssa, TV6.
Alyssa, thank you. Time right now is 6:04. Facebook is a place to connect with friends and family, which may make it seem like a safe space, right? But that doesn't automatically make it a safe place to buy. Sean Abernathy and Tiffany Gano lost $1,200 after getting scammed on Facebook Marketplace by a page called Am's Car Sales. They bought a red truck, you see it here on the site, but called off the deal after being asked to pay even more money. After that, communication and the website went dead. Now the couple is sharing a warning for others.
Just be careful. I mean, if when you see a post for a dealership, call the dealership first and ask to speak to someone about the vehicle. Don't comment on it, because it's very easy to be drawn in.
Am's Cars is a real dealership in Indianapolis. The manager tells RTV6 that business has received thousands of phone calls from customers asking about cars that they don't have in stock. They posted a scam warning online and asked customers to do their research.
Police are investigating whether a shooting that left a 13-year-old boy in critical condition was intentional, or was this an accident. Officers were called to Win Hill Drive, and that's southeast of 42nd and Post, around 4:30 Wednesday afternoon. They say family members were inside the home at the time of that shooting. Police say no matter the circumstances of the situation, it is a tragic reminder of the importance of keeping guns out of the reach of children.
We don't know the circumstances prior to this. We do know that he was shot, but it is up to us and anybody that owns a weapon to make sure that our weapons stay safe so that no one else can get hurt.
So let's get you connected this morning. Gun owners can get free gun locks at several places, including the Marion County Sheriff's Office, Riley Children's Health, and the Marion County Library.
It is still not clear if the mother of 3 kids killed at a bus stop will officially be charged for attacking the woman convicted in their deaths. Police in Fulton County say Brittany Engel rushed past an officer after Alyssa Shepard was sentenced. Engel hit Shepard before she was restrained. Shepard was driving the pickup that hit and killed Engel's 3 children in 2018. The Fulton County prosecutor, tells us Engel has not been formally charged, but he also says he is requesting a special prosecutor to take over the case and make a final decision.
At 6:07, new this morning, the town of Zionsville will soon be looking for a new police chief. Current police chief Robert Knox says he's retiring. In a Facebook post, Knox says his last day will be April 6th. This is Chief Knox's 36th year with Zionsville Police. Knox has served the last 8 years of those as the chief.
The time now is 6:07, and major changes may be coming to Broad Ripple Park as leaders want to build a new family center there. The proposal also includes a primary care facility for Community Health Network, and that has some residents really upset. Our Kelsey Anderson is live with how you can make your voices heard on this issue. Kelsey?
Hey, good morning, Raphael. So their Indy Park's plan right now is to tear down this building. This is the old library in Broad Ripple, and now it's acting as the Broad Ripple Family Center. So they want to build a new family center, and that facility will have a gym, track, group fitness classes, and multi-use rooms, while also operating as a primary care facility for Community Health Network. But some residents are opposed to the plan and don't see the need to add a doctor's office in the city park. Indy Park leaders say without this partnership, they wouldn't be able to fund the $19 million project. And leaders say the plan is still in the design phase, and there are a few more things that need to be done before they can break ground. Now, if you have an opinion on this, you can go to the public meeting today at 1 o'clock at the City County building. For more information on that meeting and an in-depth look at the plan, go to the RTV6 News app. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. It is the news Pacers fans have been waiting for. Victor Oladipo says he will return to the game at the end of the month.
What's up, Pacer fans? It's Victor Oladipo here. I just want to let you guys know personally that I plan on making my return January 29th against the Bulls at home.
The Pacers tweeted Oladipo's announcement Wednesday afternoon. Oladipo has been out since January of last year after suffering a torn quad knee tendon. Now to news from the IndyCar world. IndyCar reporter Robin Miller reporting Fernando Alonso is getting close to a deal with Andretti Autosport to run for the team this May. In addition, Alonso just might run in a few IndyCar races after the 500. The 38-year-old remains retired from Formula One, where he is a two-time champion.
A 10-year-old in Lebanon is showing what happens when the power of children meets the power of pen by drawing attention to changes he'd like to see in his own neighborhood. Calvin Fox is worried about the lack of sidewalks in his neighborhood, so he decided to write a letter to the Lebanon mayor, Matt Gentry.
Like, not safe. Like, people have to go over to the other lane when people are walking by, and I was like, there's a chance of car crashes and it's a chance of people getting hit. So I'm like, we need a sidewalk on John Burt Road.
Mayor Gentry found Calvin's note difficult to ignore. He posted it to social media praising the fourth graders' initiative. He says walkability is a priority as Lebanon expands. Unfortunately, a little snag here is Calvin doesn't actually live within the city limits, but we're sharing Calvin's letter with the county commissioner, and we'll let you know how those folks respond.
Calvin needs to join the RTV6 Working For You team.
I know, yeah.
So Calvin Fox, we're going to come visit you, and we're going to get you a Channel 6 stuff so that you could join the team. Good idea, right?
Yeah.
So you own your own items, right? You think they're precious, they're valuable, and then you take those extra steps to protect them.
New at 6:27, why a business strategy change is leaving some customers just weeks to find a new way to protect those belongings.
In just 5 months, Hoosier voters like you will head out to the polls in the primary. Head at 6:15. The announcement today that's expected to be about your ballot's safety.
And as you walk out the door here this morning, you're walking out to dry conditions. That'll change, though, as the day goes on, as rain chances will ramp up starting this evening. Once the rain starts, it's going to come down in buckets, not only tonight, but through Friday and Saturday as well. Flood watches are posted. We'll talk all about it in your Storm Team 6 forecast. The time now is 6:11. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on RTV6.
Flooring, floors to your home, that too.
The time now is 6:14. The U.S. military assessing the damage at the bases in Iraq attacked by Iran. You can see right here, these are the spots visited on those bases just last month. The president went to this base. It's called the Al-Assad, and it's about 100 miles west of Baghdad. Now, the base is so big, it has its own power plant and water bottling facility. It is home to U.S. troops along with Iraqi and coalition forces. Satellite images show damage to several buildings at Al-Assad and another base in Iraq, but no one was killed. This morning, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is ready to take action on a potential war with Iran. As she announced, the House will take up legislation today, potentially limiting President Trump's ability to take military action. Last night, the Rules Committee set parameters for that debate on that resolution. The Senate is also expected to vote on a similar resolution sometime in the next week or two.
2020 is a presidential election year. Hoosier voters will go to the polls in May for the presidential primary. Then in November, we will elect someone to serve as president for the next 4 years. Later today, the FBI in Indianapolis will discuss how they plan to keep your vote secure, especially after an investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election. We will bring you those election security plans when they are available on the RTV6 app.
Hundreds of millions of animals are estimated to have been killed in the devastating wildfires still burning across much of Australia. The fires have destroyed 2,000 homes and killed 25 people. Rain on Wednesday offering a lending hand for those firefighters, but the hot and windy conditions there are helping fuel the fires expected to return later this week. Meanwhile, government officials say they're already focusing on rebuilding.
The New South Wales government will focus on rebuilding the communities, on that infrastructure which has either been damaged, destroyed or needs improvement. We're always standing shoulder to shoulder with those who've been impacted by these devastating fires.
Donations to help both the animals and people there impacted are pouring in. Just yesterday, Elton John and actor Chris Hemsworth both pledging $1 million. Right now it is 6:16. Back here at home, we do want to get a check of our forecast. Todd Clausen is standing by with what we can expect, and we're getting rain here in the Circle City later today.
Yeah, it's going to arrive this evening once we get past sunset. So that's the good news, right? You get your morning commute in just fine. You get your evening commute in just fine as well. And then once it does start raining, though, it is going to be an extremely wet stretch of weather. One of the wettest stretches I can remember in quite some time, probably back to last June when we had all that rain. So it starts this evening. Again, it's going to probably not be until 9, 10 o'clock for most of us. Then the rain is steady throughout the day tomorrow. And then once we get to Saturday, that's probably when the heaviest of the rain comes, and maybe some breaks late Friday into Saturday with the steady rainfall, but it picks up in intensity as the front makes its way through the area on Saturday. So as you walk out the door this morning, the skies are actually mainly clear, but it is chilly. Temperatures are in the 20s and 30s, 31 in Bloomington, 24 in Kokomo, 28 is the current temperature right now in Indianapolis. As we work our way throughout the day, the one thing you'll notice is the temperatures will moderate pretty quickly. We'll be up to right around 46 degrees by the noon hour with skies that'll be partly cloudy. It does turn a little windy this afternoon as temperatures will eventually climb up to right around 53 degrees for your afternoon high. And that again puts us well above normal. The normal high this time of year is 35 degrees. Here are the clouds that are in place across western portions. It's clearer off to the east. So some of you will have some sunshine. Sunrise unofficially until just after 8 o'clock this morning. A few spotty showers starting to pop up in Illinois. I think we are basically going to be rain-free until again after sunset, not until probably around 6, 7 o'clock. A few spotty showers enter western portions of the state. It's probably not until 9, 10 o'clock and beyond that we start to get into some heavier and steadier rain across the area as we work our way into the evening hours and then eventually overnight. So tomorrow's a mild day. One thing we'll keep an eye on tomorrow, not only the rain, but the temperature. The record high for tomorrow is 62 degrees, and it's not out of the question if we get a nice surge of mild air that we could get to that number. Either way, we'll be right around 60 degrees, but rain from start to finish. Here's how your Friday plays out on TrueCast hour by hour. Your morning commute, it's going to be a wet one. The kids prepare them with the umbrella as they head off to the bus stop. The rain continues throughout the afternoon hours. There could be a little bit of a break in the evening, but it's still going to have that damp feel, and the showers come right back the later you get into Friday night. And then here's those pockets of heavier rainfall working our way into Saturday. In fact, Saturday afternoon is probably when the heaviest of the rain falls throughout the entire duration of this storm system. It's not until late Saturday into Sunday that we start to get a break. So I know I threw just a lot at you there as far as the timing goes. Essentially what you need to know, rain starts tonight. It's with us all day Friday, with us all day Saturday. By the time it wraps up, 2 to 4 inches of rain will be possible across the area, giving us the potential for some flooding, and that's why the flood watch has been issued by the National Weather Service. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here is a live look right now from our live drive vehicle showing you what you can expect out on the roads for your Thursday. Right now, our photographer Shay Goodpaster is in the driver's seat. This is the dash cam view of westbound I-465 on the south side. He's approaching US 31, the East Street exit. And you can see everything here is traveling up to speed. No major issues to report around the Indy metro area.
We all know kids can be expensive, and a new study shows that starts at day one. Researchers at the University of Michigan looked at the out-of-pocket health care costs for pregnancy, delivery, and the first 3 months of postpartum care. They found that women with insurance still paid an average of $4,500 for their care. That represents about 21% of the total price. Researchers say the prices have gone up in recent years, and they worry this could cause some women to cut back on care.
Okay, Lauren, do you like eating popcorn? How about you, Meredith or Todd? Popcorn,
oh, yeah.
Right? So you can relate to that frustration of getting that piece stuck between your teeth. Well, for one man, that annoyance nearly killed him. You see, Adam Martin got a piece stuck between his molars. This was back in September. He tried to poke it out for 3 days using items around his home. And then weeks later, he mysteriously got sick. He went to the ER and doctors diagnosed him with a blood infection, which led to him going to the ER for open heart surgery. After a lot of questioning, they traced the infection back to that piece of popcorn. Martin is expected to make a full recovery. He says he hopes this will serve as a reminder for others to go to their dentist before little issues get a whole lot worse. Wow.
Well, now I'm scarred for life, and I'm going to be so nervous if I get that stuck in my teeth. Okay, we've all had that happen, and hey, we've all had nights of sleep that we've lost. So this morning, a new study is showing that could increase your risk for Alzheimer's. Not good news for us in this morning shift. The study is still in its early stages, but so far researchers have found that losing just one night of sleep increases the levels of tau protein in the blood of healthy young men. That protein helps to stabilize nerve cells in the brain, and it's been linked to an increased risk for Alzheimer's. Researchers fear that sleep deprivation over time could be a sentence for this devastating disease.
All right, well, we just told you how medical bills are expensive and can be tough to pay for little ones. Well, ahead at 6:25, how one NBA player is helping hundreds of families get rid of those big bills. We'll be right back.
And Keller, right now.
All right, it is time to talk about what is trending at 6. And guys, sometimes when you find something that was missing, the best thing to do is to get it back to the rightful owner, right? Well, this is a lesson in doing what's right for a pair of Missouri teens, kind of with the twist here. Alex and his friend Lucas, they were just walking around when they found a pair of AirPods on the ground. Pretty expensive, right? Well, after connecting the earpieces, the name is what no one expected. Kansas City Chiefs player Derek Nady. The teens tweeted to the NFL player saying that they wanted to return his AirPods, and he agreed to meet them.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What are the odds of that?
So listen, an NBA star is helping get rid of medical debt for those in the town that he's playing in. See, Trae Young plays for the Atlanta Hawks and just wiped away $1 million in medical debt. The point guard partnered with RIP Medical Debt. The non-for-profit buys medical debt across the country, targeting the accounts of individuals below the federal poverty level. What an amazing post-Christmas gift to receive if you're in that situation.
That's
so
a really great way to use your star power.
Yeah.
This morning, a young Wisconsin wrestler is in the fight of his life. Miguel Duran has been fighting cancer in the skeletal muscle for more than a year. Soon, the 9-year-old won't be able to wrestle, so when the high school's wrestling coach learned about Miguel, he stepped in to honor his last wish. Last night, Miguel was able to wrestle his favorite varsity player, become a co-captain, and even get lettered. That is pretty great. Look at him there.
That's so cool.
All right, here at 6:26. It is. Our forecast, however, I would say is not worth $1 million.
Yeah, you know, I had one person tell me, I don't care if it rains, I'm just glad it's going to be warm.
Yeah.
So, you know, it just depends on your perspective. It could be a lot of snow heading our way, but it's not going to be. This morning as you walk out the door, we are dealing with cold but clear conditions across the area. About 28 at 8 a.m. with some sunshine. The clouds will gather as the day goes on, but it turns warmer and breezy. 46 by the noon hour. Then high temperatures today will be in the 50s anywhere you go. In fact, southern locations getting close to 60 degrees for your afternoon high. The daytime hours today will be dry. Once we get to tonight after sunset, that's when the rain arrives. Once it starts, it's with us through Friday and all the way into Saturday. A lot more on the rainfall heading our way coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Well, home security is big business these days with millions of people now using alarms and those doorbell cameras.
As our John Matteries explains, one security camera has just announced it's giving up the business.
Spectrum Cable is getting out of the home security business, leaving thousands of customers scrambling this month to find a new monitoring company. But that's just part of the problem, as one unhappy customer found out. Steve Rodinghouse has a house filled with Spectrum security equipment.
This is the door sensor.
It all works seamlessly with a smartphone and tablet app.
I can control the thermostat.
Only problem, as of mid-February, he can't use it anymore. Steve, along with thousands of other customers nationwide, received this letter explaining that Spectrum is getting out of the home security business that it inherited from Time Warner Cable. Only problem, he spent hundreds of dollars adding sensors and cameras.
So how much did you spend for all that equipment?
Almost $900. 2 cameras, motion sensors, door sensors, window sensors.
The problem, Steve says, is that once the service is discontinued, he'll no longer be able to access his cameras or his door chimes from his tablet or his phone. Spectrum confirms to us their equipment will not work with any other home security company, and Spectrum is not offering refunds.
Called and asked. I said, can you give me a credit towards the rest of my cable bill, phone bill? internet bill that I still have with you? And they said no.
However, a Spectrum spokesman tells us the company is offering existing subscribers a special deal from Ring Home Security, including $200 worth of free Ring equipment. But Steve says that's a fraction of the setup he has here in his house, equipment that in a few weeks will become useless. Now, Spectrum is also offering a discount plan with Abode Home Security. So you may want to deal with Ring or Abode if you want any chance of a good deal with some free equipment. As always, don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese.
John, thank you. Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Thursday morning, here's a look at your 6:30 news feed. Police are investigating whether a shooting that left a 13-year-old boy in critical condition was intentional or an accident. Officers were called to Wind Hill Drive, southeast of 42nd and Post, late Wednesday afternoon. They say family members were inside the home at the time, but they have not released any other information.
Metro Police are still looking for a suspect in the city's most recent homicide case. It happened around 8:30 yesterday morning on the west side at an apartment complex between Rockville Road and Washington Street. Officers found a man who had been shot in the stairwell of a building. He later died at the hospital. Police believe that this was an isolated incident.
And now let's go to Madison County. Neighbors tell RTV6 a rehab facility there is cleared to open in the city of Anderson. They say the Board of Zoning Appeals gave the project its approval on Wednesday. Now, many people are against the facility opening near their neighborhood, and they plan to continue to fight that. The center is set to be up and running by this summer.
The U.S. government's road safety agency is sending a special crash team to Indiana to investigate a fatal crash involving a Tesla vehicle. The crash happened last month on I-70 near Terre Haute when the car slammed into a parked fire truck. Police are still working to determine if the vehicle was operating on autopilot at the time of the crash.
The City County Council in Indianapolis will make climate change one of its top priorities this year. Democratic Councilor John Barth introduced a plan to establish a study commission to review the status of the city's response to climate change. He also recommended proposals to improve last year's Thrive Indianapolis plan. That plan includes a pledge to make Indianapolis carbon neutral by 2050.
Welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this Thursday. The weather is going to warm up just a little bit, but listen, as you know, I don't like rain because of the flooding. So, Todd, I'm hoping that this rain that we're going to get is really going to be prolonged over maybe 20 days.
Well,
he's like, help the folks in Franklin out, right?
Take a zero off that number. And about, 2.5 days here, we're going to be dealing with a lot of rain. So it's over a decent amount of time. But flood watches are posted across the area. And if you do live in flood-prone areas, I would suggest you probably use today to think ahead and start to take maybe some of those precautions. Let's get you out the door, though, on this Thursday morning. And as you walk out the door, I did not check the umbrella for you. Today, you don't have to worry about any rain probably until after you get home from work later on this evening. So there's no need to carry that umbrella around throughout the entire day today for an event that's going to really start not until 7, 8 o'clock. And you'll even need the sunglasses here this morning. And you definitely need the heavier jacket this morning as temperatures, they are on the cool side. We're below freezing in most locations. We stay there through about the 8 o'clock hour. However, once we get to this afternoon, we're talking about temperatures all the way up into the 50s. So we warm very, very quickly throughout the day today. The trade-off is going to be a bit of a gusty wind, but you notice our rain chances are nil at least through about 4 p.m. By 7 p.m., it's mainly just in some western locations, and then they really, really start to ramp up later on this evening. We'll talk more about that and beyond into your Friday and Saturday coming up in just a few minutes. But at 6:32, let's get you updated once again on the traffic with Lauren.
All right, Todd, we have a look from our live drive vehicle right now, a dash cam view of eastbound I-70 approaching West Street, coming in from the west side of town, heading into downtown. You can see it is a smooth commute in this area. We'll continue to keep our eyes out for any delays this morning, and of course, we'll keep you updated.
This morning, teachers are concerned that lawmakers are not addressing the issues that led to their massive protest just 2 months ago. Educators hope their Red for Ed movement would have swayed legislators to listen to their concerns. But as the 2020 session gets underway, teachers feel they will not receive one of their major requests from state leaders. Our Alyssa Donovan is live this morning at the State House. Alyssa, what are teachers saying now?
So, Meredith, many people, you may remember that there was a sea of red here outside of the State House back in November. Teachers asking for change from lawmakers. And today, we are 4 days into the 2020 legislative session, and teachers have already learned they're likely not going to receive one of the issues that they were marching for, a pay raise. Now, however, teachers are seeing steps in the right direction for another issue on their agenda. One of the first orders of business for Indiana lawmakers at the start of session on Monday was addressing iLearn, the state's standardized testing. Less than half of Indiana's students passed the test last spring. A bill under consideration would protect teachers from being penalized for their students' performance on these tests. The bill would also place a 2-year delay in using the test scores to rate schools so that educators can adjust to the from the iLearn from the previous testing that they had been using.
And that is a very positive step in the right direction. We have always said that these tests being coupled to teacher evaluations really isn't fair.
Now, earlier this week, House Democrats proposed the use of a nearly $300 million chunk of money from unexpected state tax revenue to give each teacher in Indiana a one-time bonus of $4,000. But Republicans shot that down, agreeing with Governor Holcomb's office that the money needs to be used elsewhere. Now, state Democrats are holding a press conference this morning here at the State House that is supposed to be addressing the inadequacies with teacher salaries across the state. Of course, we'll have more on that in future newscast. That's happening this morning at 9:30 a.m. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you so much. The time now is 6:35. It's an issue that's prompted new legislation following our Call 6 investigations led by our very own Kara Kenny. And now new efforts are underway to address bullying in your child's classroom. Representative Greg Porter has filed House Bill 1167. It would require charter schools and private schools to adopt anti-bullying policies if they accept funding or financial assistance from state public schools, are required to write out report bullying incidents to the State Department of Education. And many charter schools are reporting as well, but private schools are not sharing their bullying numbers.
If you're receiving state dollars, you should be held to the same accountability as everyone else. You should not get a pass. And as we all know, bullying happens in schools all the time, and we just need to understand what is going on in regards to the school environment. The psychosocial well-being of our students is important in regards to a learning environment.
And this is always eye-opening. Call 6 Investigates found that half of Indiana schools did not report a single bullying incident last school year. Porter hopes to address that as well, possibly in this bill. He filed similar language last session, but it did not get a hearing. But Porter is confident it will get some attention this year. This year is a presidential election year as we cover Democracy 2020, and Indiana voters will go to the polls in May for the primary, and then in November, you will elect someone to serve the next 4 years as president. So later today, the FBI in Indianapolis will discuss how they plan to keep your vote secure, especially, as you know, after an investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election. We'll bring you those election security plans as soon as they are announced on the RTV6 app as well as the IndyChannel.com.
It is 6:36. She almost gave her life for the right to get an education, and now she's the latest honoree at an exhibit spotlighting child heroes from all around the world. The Children's Museum of Indianapolis announced that Malala Yousafzai would be the 4th person added to its exhibit entitled The Power of Children, Making a Difference. It celebrates children whose stories of facing discrimination and other hardships have inspired millions. Malala was just 15 years old when she was shot in the head by a member of the Taliban in Pakistan as she advocated for the right for girls to attend school. She later won the Nobel Peace Prize for her work.
We will recreate her home in the Swat Valley, as we have done with the other children, and present information about her life, showing how she used her humble family computer to express her message.
The Children's Museum says this will be the only permanent exhibit honoring Malala Yousafzai in the world. It's expected to open sometime in the year 2021.
It's a plan for a park that's not making some people happy. Up next, our Kelsey Anderson is working for you this morning with what the plan says and how you can let your voice be heard later today.
They served their country, but now they have no place to call home. Coming up, elected leaders from both parties come together to lend a helping hand to some Hoosier heroes. The time now is 6:38, and you're watching Good Morning Indiana.
At Ashley Home Store, this is home.
Welcome back. Major changes may be coming to a Broad Ripple Park as leaders want to build a new family center and primary care facility for Community Health Network.
But some people who live in the area oppose to the idea and say there is no need for new construction. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning with more on what both sides are saying and how you can make sure your voice is heard. Kelsey.
Hey, good morning, Meredith and Lauren. So the plan right now for Indy Parks, they want to tear down this building. Right now it's acting as the Broad Ripple Park Family Center, but they want to tear it down and build a new family center. Now that new facility will have a gym, track, group fitness classes in multi-use rooms, while also operating as a primary care facility for Community Health Network. Now some residents don't like the idea of a doctor's office in the park, but Indy Parks Director Linda Broadfoot says this $19 million project wouldn't be possible without the partnership with Community Health.
To give us an opportunity to do something bigger, better, nicer, and to offer so many more classes and serve so many more residents is really the benefit for us. And to have a mission-aligned partner alongside us, I think just offers more resource and opportunities to the neighborhood.
Residents who oppose the idea say there is no need for new construction because there are several large and vacant buildings in the area already, and they believe the city park should remain separate from private companies. Now, if you have an opinion on this, you can make sure it's heard today at a public hearing at the City County building downtown at 1 o'clock. That meeting is at 1 o'clock at the City County building. We've got more information for you on that public hearing and an in-depth look at the plan here at Broad Ripple Park over on the RTV6 News app. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. The time now is 6:42, and the state is teaming up with the American Legion to help men and women who've served our country and now are in need. House Speaker Brian Bosma announced that they are launching a donation drive to collect hygiene and food items for Hoosier veterans who are homeless. For Navy veteran Jeff Johnson, efforts like this, he says, help turn his life around.
Addictions, post-traumatic stress disorder, homelessness, and the American Legion was a godsend. So right now I'm a small business owner. I'm back in college, and all to the American Legion.
On Good Morning Indiana, we always want you to get connected. So if you want to donate hygiene or non-perishable food items to veterans experiencing homelessness in our state, you can drop off donations at American Legion posts or at collection points at the State House.
Well, a difficult topic to talk about, but one in which talking can lead to solutions. Up next, how one community is trying to help young people who are thinking about taking their own lives.
And it's the latest partnership that can help Hoosiers get an education, which could help them find a better job. Next, how working for the Golden Arches may help some people get a college degree. Todd.
And no issues on the roadways this morning as you walk out the door. We're going to give you the green light with clear and cold conditions as temperatures are in the 20s. By your evening drive, we're still in good shape. But once we get past sunset tonight, that is when the rain is going to arrive. The windshield wipers, they will be going in full force the next few days. We'll talk all about the forecast coming up in just a few minutes. The time now is 6:44. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on RTV6.
Application today at buyrider.com.
Welcome back. Our live drive vehicle is monitoring I-70 eastbound on the east side. Right now, we're between Post Road and Mount Comfort Road, where everything is traveling up to speed. No problems there. We are monitoring a crash right now close to the downtown area near West 29th Street on I-65. We'll continue to monitor that as we get into our next traffic hit. But just a heads up, there may be some delays north of downtown.
It is a topic that is difficult to talk about, but is becoming more important to do so. Suicide among young people, even children, is a growing issue. Last year, South Madison Community Schools had 5 suicide attempts at its elementary schools, and in September, 2 teenagers in the county took their own lives on the same night. James Harless is a paramedic and firefighter in Anderson who has been called to many of those deaths. He and others are working to create a peer support program for students who may be considering suicide.
It's something that's unfortunately affecting the whole country. It's not just localized here, but it is something that, you know, if we can address it, even if it's just getting somebody a phone number, a text line, a website that they can go to get some information, if that's something that maybe they didn't know prior, and at least gives them an outlet and someone to talk to, then we've at least accomplished something.
Harless and other first responders have started handing out pamphlets about suicide awareness. They hope that discussing the topic is better than avoiding it. And if you or someone you know is struggling, we want you to know there is help available. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is available 24/7. Their number is 1-800-273-TALK.
Our Hiring Hoosiers commitment moves into the new year with details on a new partnership that will provide job training and college tuition assistance for people across our state. McDonald's and Ivy Tech will announce a statewide alliance through the Archways to Opportunity Education program. McDonald's employees who work a certain amount of hours will be eligible for tuition assistance. Ivy Tech will also offer credits for some on-the-job training and classes, as well as counseling. More details will be shared at 10 o'clock this morning on this new partnership.
All right, here at 6:48, we want to toss things over to Todd Clausen for a check of today's forecast. We know it's dry right now on the roads as folks are heading out, Todd, but that is going to change later today.
Yeah, today's not a bad day at all. Temperatures get very mild later on this afternoon after a cold start. All the big issues are what lies ahead. So tomorrow we start to deal with a steady rainfall across the area, and that steady rain is going to continue all the way into Saturday, and that's when we have the heaviest of the rain. So when you combine all the rain we'll see tomorrow on top of what falls Saturday, which is going to be even heavier, Saturday's the day I really think we have to start to think about the potential for flooding here across the area. So let's dive into this forecast. We'll start quickly with this morning. It's cold out there. You'll need to bundle up. Temperatures in the 20s and 30s, but no real big problems in the forecast for the day today. We'll warm quickly. We'll go from where we are right now below freezing into the low 40s already by 11 a.m. By the noon hour, 46 degrees with increasing clouds. Should be hitting the 50-degree mark by 2 p.m. And then highs today should top off right around 53. I will say, though, it is going to turn pretty breezy later on this afternoon. It's a southerly wind. That's what brings the mild air in. The trade-off, though, gusts up to about 30 miles per hour. It may make it feel a little bit cooler. As far as the rain today, we don't have any in the forecast until late tonight. In fact, this morning we're starting off with some sunshine. Obviously, once the sun comes up a little after 8 o'clock, and as far as the rain goes, a few spotty showers in central Illinois, but otherwise there's not a whole lot off to our west. And the timeline doesn't bring the rain into central Indiana until about the 6, 7 o'clock hour, and that's only in western locations. It's not until closer to midnight that the rain becomes heavier and more widespread. But once it starts, it is going to be with us again for about 48 to 60 hours across the area. So our trouble days are today, tomorrow, and Saturday, although today it's really just late in the day with our high of 53. Tomorrow the record high is 62, potentially going to be a record with all that heavy rainfall. And then Saturday's the day we look forward, unfortunately, to the potential for some flooding. We'll quickly stream through TrueCast for you here. You notice the rain just keeps coming throughout the day tomorrow, 1 p.m. A little bit of a break maybe in the evening, then more rain comes back throughout Saturday. We go into Saturday afternoon. There's a big push of very heavy rainfall, and nothing really wraps up across the area until very early Sunday morning. So this is a prolonged event of very heavy rainfall all across the area. We're looking at about 2 to 4 inches of rain. That's why the flood watch is posted across almost all of central Indiana. If you live in those flood-prone areas, take the precautions here. Starting to today while it's still dry, and then Sunday, 41 degrees with partly cloudy skies, and back into the 50s, Lauren, for next week.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. I want to give you a live look right now north of downtown. This is our camera at I-65 and 30th Street. Traffic here on the interstate is traveling smoothly, both northbound and southbound. It is picking up, but a heads up just below here on a side street, 29th Street. We do have 2 lanes blocked at this hour due to a hit-and-run crash in the area. A heads up to that if you travel on the near north side of town. We'll continue to monitor that situation and keep you updated throughout the morning.
Girl, me and you together, we can live in the past. Bang when you were special if your outfit. Everything's different now, but one thing stays the same. I still want you. Hey.
Victor Oladipo is coming back. January 29th is when Vic says he will be back on the hardwood with the Pacers. They are at home against the Chicago Bulls that night. Oladipo has been out since he suffered a torn quad knee tendon almost exactly 1 year ago. His return can't come soon enough. The Pacers lost at home to the Miami Heat last night and have dropped 3 of their last 4 games.
Welcome back. We look forward to that. Throwback Thursday is up next. She was the perfect mascot that was once a sophisticated radio station. We'll take a look at the feline who ended up with a musical pedigree. That's next, right here on RTV6. Live. Visit the Hiring Hoosiers job board.
All right, Throwback Thursday now. Sometimes the best friends, they just show up out of the blue.
That's how we got this guy.
Yeah. That's what happened actually at one radio station right here in Indy 30 years ago.
A stray cat found her way to what at the time was a classical music station, Symphony 107. She soon became Claudia, the classical cat.
And so Claudia arrived at the station in late 1989. Now, by January of that next year, former RTV6 reporter Linda Lupier found that Claudia had pretty much declared she was home.
While Claudia is a perfect lady most of the time, she does tend to take over.
Well, see, what we can do is we can park the call on the line so that when I think the CEO refers to one of the telephone lines for the company.
So far, no one has told this classic kitty where violin strings used to come from.
Hey. Well, okay.
What's that about music hath charms?
Claudia has lots of food here. She has Alpo, she has Meow Mix, she even has a New Year's gift from one of the clients here at the station. So what does she prefer to eat? Muffins.
I love muffins. You can read more about Claudia, the classical cat, at theindychannel.com/history. It's always great to hear stories from our good friend Linda Lupier as we look back on Thursdays.
I just wonder who got delegated to clean up the litter box.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one downside to that.
To the cat,
yeah. All right, Todd.
All right, mild temperatures here with gusty winds. We're dry through 6 p.m., then a lot of rainfall heads our way the next 2 days.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Thank you for joining us. We're back here in 25 minutes and throughout Good Morning America.
We hope you have a great rest of your Thursday.
We'll see you tomorrow.